Good that you muted. Coming to you live from the Cocos Bracket Keeling Islands over here by the Indian Ocean. We took the express train from Sacramento down over to here. We are live with the 56th edition of Grand Platypus Open, number 56. And of course, your host Yaku of Zaku, and with me today is el tipo que dispara polen mientras conduce un tanque in Polonia himself, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
All over the Polonia. Yes, we are back once again. If you were here with us earlier today, we were live with Copa Hyperion, and now after a couple of hours break, we are back with Grand Platypus Open number 56. Oh boy, it's good to be back home.
Yep. Well, home is so relative. It was a bit of a bumpy flight, but we made it. We made it.
We're okay. We're okay for now. Maybe we have a little bit of jet lag, but hopefully we can take off our shoes, take off our socks, and get through it.
Time zone summer, right? That's why brought to you by Turmeric Coffee. And we're gonna start things off with a matchup that's been a long time coming, really. Starting off on Lightshade LE here in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner. The blue Protoss player coming down from Sydney Arbor. He is going to be representing Fight for Justice. We have StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran player, one of the OGs of our tournament series from way back in 2019. He is the Australian Terran representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
Easily our most active Terran player.
Exclamation mark Funada Seeker in the chat.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a while since we've been able to cast Azure here. He's signed up, week after week or almost every week, but somehow we've always been missing him.
Yeah, it's
always started his series while we were in.
Yeah, like Azure, he was the original Kong in 2019, and like our first quote-unquote season of GPO was him and Demi. They were the two duking it out consistently in the finals. And he kind of took a back seat a little bit in 2020. Like, he was still incredibly active, and we would still follow him. But as we all know, 2020 was the year of Gogo Joey and Mio Micah. And here in 2021, in the first month or so, he has been a little bit inactive as well in the off season, but now he's back.
Yeah, that Ends Champs announcement got everyone excited.
Exactly, they've all been laddering. People like Azure, like Huts, like Pez, they're all back, so it's great to see them all practicing, all laddering. But I'm really curious to see what their level is like, because I know the last time these two players faced, StarDuck came out on top.
Indeed, he did. Now, that was the best of one over in the lower bracket.
True.
That's what happened last week, I do believe, but that's been happening for a while with StarDuck. He has been able to, consistently take these best of ones and, even take maps off of Azure. I believe he beat him in a best of 3 once or twice. So yeah, I would say that they're pretty even players here.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm really curious to see how they shape up, especially because you could definitely argue, in the past, Azure was maybe a little bit out of shape, but now that he's been actively laddering, okay, now it's time for a bit of a rematch.
Definitely is. This is a bit of an inopportune timing to place a mule, but StarDuck decided to play nice. Well, to be fair, it was more to do with these Reapers.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. StarDuck was able to
get these.
Yeah. Almost, right? Honestly, he probably could, especially with that high health Reaper. Oh, very
nicely done here by our red Terran player. I remember the name of the race.
Yeah, it's a Terran, right? It's someone. I don't think did we even cast a Terran this morning? I don't think we.
Wydidra.
Oh right, yeah, we started with Wydidra, and that's the last we saw of Terran.
Okay.
It's the only one. Oh boy. But here we have Azure, and already coming out a little bit on top here. If we look at the units lost, sure, he lost 5 Marines, but he was able to kill 5 probes.
Indeed, he was, and he's still a little bit behind when it comes to the workers. It's to be expected, really. Protoss does have their Chrono Boost, but Azure definitely has a mule, so he's pulling up pretty far ahead when it comes to the mineral income, and not too far behind in gas either.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like he's looking to hit some kind of timing here, as he does have +1 already on the way. He's working on his own bio upgrades, and I'm really curious to see how StarDuck plays this series out, because he did kind of rush out this robotics bay, looking to go for Colossus or Disruptor.
Drop, yeah.
I assume. Oh.
Colossus or Disruptor drop. It will be Colossus this time. This is an unfortunate supply block for StarDuck over here. Colossus take up a lot of supply.
Yeah, exactly.
It was safe.
It may have almost been worth just like keeping the War Prism in production instead and waiting until that finished, but he did end up switching over. We do of course have the Colossus on the way, which, I mean, yeah, it's going to be coming out quite quickly. Should come out in time for this attack.
Which is definitely going to be nice. Thermal ants are not too far behind. And especially since Azure, he's going for a straight up 3 racks. He is not have a starport for quite a while. Colossus can do quite a bit. There's plenty of Marines in that army, and if the Marauders go a little too far forward, there's always the Immortals to contest with. Or
yeah,
the Immortal, singular.
What's scary is that all this relies on StarDuck's reaction time, because he has no idea that this is coming. He has very little scouting information, especially because the Adepts came all the way back home, and now this is the first sign he's seeing of this. He does have 2 shield batteries. How good are going to be the force fields? Oh god.
But they already get targeted down. Azure taking it out again. That was the super battery, but with the force fields and with the Colossus and with the gateway units buying time, all of those Marines get absolutely shredded. Azure could have taken out the Colossus, I suppose, but yeah, a bit of a unfortunate timing here.
Exactly, yeah, he decided to focus down the overcharge, which, to be fair, like, if he focused on Colossus, it's possible that the Colossus would have survived with the overcharge, out healing the DPS.
And, you know, when you push out with this 3-Rex build, you have to do some kind of damage, right? That's getting 2 shield batteries is better than not killing anything because of that battery overcharge.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, I will say that, like, that was a pretty big investment, and I'm sure Azure wanted more than just 2 shield batteries.
Absolutely did. He wanted to take a pretty big army advantage and then just press the attack until StarDuck was unable to recover.
Yeah, but the defense was beautiful there by StarDuck. He had his whole army in position at that 3rd base. Really nicely done by Azure, able to pick off 3 workers for a Reaper. Unfortunately, though, he didn't get into the main.
Yeah, well, he has to have some sort of suspicion on what's coming his way.
Yeah, and if he wants confirmation, you know, we always have these drops. Like, sure, they deal damage, but they also do provide, as you say, you know, they also provide some scouting information.
Definitely do. And this is kind of how Azure likes to play out his TvPs. He's very much the drop-heavy type of player. He'll get a little bit of damage here and there, get some very good tech snipes, and then force his Protoss opponent to push into a defended location.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see the double drop is going into the main base. Right now, there's not much here to defend. The Colossus are walking up into the main base. What are they going to...
So exposed. So exposed. Could get the Robo Bay. That's a nice little bit of damage. Colossus unfortunately focused on a single Marauder there, so not too many Marines taken out. Very good drop here from Azure.
Yeah,
the majority of his forces alive.
And thankfully, like, there's no Blink Stalkers, right? Like, Blink hasn't been researched, but oh no, please, Azure, get away!
Regular Stalkers, though, they do quite a bit of damage. That medevac just in range. That's gonna be painful if you're Azure.
Yeah, oh my god, like, his drop did so well, and I was about to commend him for getting away with everything. But unfortunately, one of the drops did get picked off there. And StarDuck, yo, he is just macroing his heart out right now, even taking a 4th base.
Yeah, might as well, right? Head get even more ahead.
Ooh, that he will. Meanwhile, it looks like he did realize that he was missing Blink, so he is working on that upgrade as well, looking to try and apply some pressure here at the 3rd base. But with 2 tanks, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get much done.
Yeah, I'm really digging the position here for the bio of Azure, keeping most of his Marauders alive. 1 tech will go down.
Oh my god.
Shortly after, beautiful flank coming out here from Azure.
Yeah, that it was, as he was able to take out that War Prism, but the main army, there's not enough here to really stop it, as 3 Colossus and all these icons, oh god, all the SCVs!
Will fall like butter. Or melt like butter, man.
Oh my
Mixed up
god.
a couple of Saiyans over there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, again, there's not that much anti-air with this. Like, there's no stalkers with this army, so the drops can maneuver around, but that was a big loss there by Azure, forced to evacuate his third base.
Yeah, unfortunate. Again, just feels like a bit of a mistiming. Well, to be fair, he got the push, kind of got the drop on him. He was not expecting that to happen, and he tried to turn around as quickly as he could. But
exactly.
yeah, by the time the drop came in for the flank, the main army was already very thinned out, and now GG is called. StarDuck gonna be taking game number 1.
Ooh, GG. StarDuck already taking the lead in this series, and so far I'm impressed. Like, there wasn't anything too cheeky or you know, too out of the ordinary when it comes to StarDuck's style.
Yeah. It was Azure that was trying to be a little tricky there with the 3 racks. And StarDuck playing very safe, I would say. Going into a fairly quick robotics bay.
Yeah, and it was just what he needed to defend in the end, as we are getting set up for game number 2. We do have the lobby. We do have the map, I should say. Oof.
By the way, looking at chat, Funara at both of you, Lord Open says.
Oh god. Yes. Unfortunately, Seether and Pez didn't sign up today, but oh. UI skin?
The console? Console bug? Question mark?
Oh.
Could be the console bug.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure.
That's been a thing that's been happening for, what, over a year at this point? Something about custom games just decides, you know what? I know what you picked for your UI / your console.
Yeah. It's a bit odd. I hope it isn't yeah, apparently Azure is having a bit of a
console bug, yeah.
Yeah, or something's going on. I mean, I like everything's normal on my end,
Set
at least.
to default.
Yeah.
Well, we're also using Observer UI, so.
All right, so
yeah, that's been happening for about over a year at this point, and no one really knows how to fix it.
Oh god, as we are getting into game number 2, god damn it, Pez and Seether, god damn it. I mean, even though they might not be here today, I hope we do see them tomorrow. Oh, as a reminder to everyone, tomorrow is a Demi C weekly, so we will have plenty more Oceania and Southeast Asian StarCraft this weekend.
And not only is tomorrow Demi C weekly, today is Demi annual.
It is.
Day of birth.
Yes, happy birthday, feliz. I almost said Merry Christmas. Feliz cumpleaños, Demi. For those wondering, Demi Varun, the Indian Zerg player, it's his birthday today. So I don't think he's in the chat, but regardless, you know, if you see him, wish him a happy birthday.
Add him on Twitter.
Add him on Twitter. There you go.
I actually don't remember his handle, but regardless. We're going to be continuing things off on Oxide LE in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way top right-hand corner. The blue Protoss player coming down from the Sydney Ava. He is going to be representing Fight for Justice. He already on match point light. One more, and he makes it to the upper bracket semis. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Australian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Legacy Esports, already down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. It is Azure.
So, pulling a little bit of a sneaky 3 racks in the last game, started coming into Scout. Because of this, Wonder what Azure has in store for us. He is, I would say, the most versatile. Him and Seether really are the most versatile Terran players in the scene. But Seether also has a certain style he prefers to play if he can get away with it. Azure will just, throw things out there, mix things up.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Like Azure, it does feel like he has a little bit more variety with how he plays, and he's willing to throw more out there than someone like Sheldon. But we'll see what he has in store for us. Like, I'm honestly surprised he didn't start off with a proxy. Speaking of proxies,
well, gloves are off. StarDuck remembers the 3 racks, and yeah, it's looking to reciprocate.
Oh boy. Okay, so the cyber core is already done. This could just be a reinforcing gateway to apply pressure across the map. Yeah, that it is.
That it is.
Oh boy.
We'll see how well Azure is able to defend against this. He's already getting a really good defensive setup. Bunker is already more than halfway done. Actually going for, is this Mines or Hellions?
Oh,
Hellions!
Okay. He's opening up with his Hellions. We got a starport on the way. But again, I don't know if Hellions are the ideal unit here for, again, like StarDuck is going to be warping in across the map. He will have 3 gateways up.
Well, I guess it depends, right? If StarDuck makes Zealots, which is a little bit rare, but sometimes the Protoss player does make Zealots, then Hellions are pretty good for the kiting, but yeah, just about any other unit to come up from the gateway, not ideal to deal with them with. It's not ideal to deal with them with Hellions. Even Adepts, they are light units, but you got plenty of shields.
Oh,
they do a lot more damage to Hellions. They do. Ooh, it is actually going to be a mine drop following these Hellions. It's going to be using them as scout.
Yeah, I like it. So we do have 4 Adepts now looking to shade into the natural. And again, there isn't much here to defend. And it's going to be disastrous, especially if Azure decides to leave his base with these Widow Mines. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Hellions do get across the map. Forces a recall.
And here comes the scout. This is the main purpose of getting the Hellions like this. Getting the probe damage is a bit of a bonus here. And gets a decent eye onto the base of StarDuck. Don't think there's anything too telling here.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was an overreaction from StarDuck. Like, that recall, it felt a little bit unnecessary there for 2 Hellions. And as a result, any kind of aggression is delayed. And as he's pushing out, Azure is pushing in.
Well, pushing, quote unquote. It's a single medevac full of mines.
Oh boy.
And they are waddling their way in like.
Oh god, they be waddling. How good are the reactions?
Yeah, pretty good.
Oh god!
Nice little. That was a pretty good lift up for StarDuck, but unfortunately missing the 2 next ones. And Graviton runs out. Graviton runs out like there's only a single Marine in that bunker.
Oh god, that there is, and all the SCVs are being focused down. So StarDuck, he's losing a lot on his side of the map, but Azure likewise losing a lot on the side of his. Meanwhile, the tank will come out shortly, and it's going to be key here to be able to defend against this push.
Absolutely is. Relia with the tank, and once it sieges up, I feel like StarDuck is just about going to run out of steam here. A little bit of friendly fire going on, funnily enough, on that supply depot.
He can shade in. He
could, but it looks like he doesn't want to risk that. Doesn't want to risk getting on top of that bunker.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he was busy cleaning up all the Widow Mines across the map. In the end, they both kind of lost an equal amount of workers, 17 and 15 going down on either side, respectively. Oh boy, but this is dangerous because the Phoenix is here and the Phoenix can lift up the tank.
Absolutely can, which is why it's so important that Azure, he's keeping his Marines by. His tank will be able to target out the Phoenix, and there we go. StarDuck's push has just about run out of steam. Well, he's got more Stalkers coming out, but with the Marine count and with the tank, the tank's not quite in position yet.
Yeah, that it is not. Again, these Marines don't have any upgrades. They don't have combat shield, they don't have stim. They are just plain and naked Marines, so the Stalkers can go toe-to-toe with them.
Absolutely can. They outrange them so hard as well.
Oh god, the CC is getting so low.
It very much is. Trying to start us up as good as he can, but Azure quick on the repair, and the starter stepping from Azure is going to be able to take out a decent number of these Stalkers. A little bit of an awkward moment to unsiege, but he does have a second tank.
Oh god, that's a little bit scary. Here comes another Phoenix, it immediately lifts up the tank, and with that, the Stalkers, they can get on top of the tank. He's trying to focus it down.
And he will focus one of them down. StarDuck microing his heart out. losing a little more than he would like, and in the end, Azure is able to hold. Down 10 workers, but mules, am I right?
Yeah, it's not that bad, especially because of all the Widowmine damage. Like that, like 15 probes. Like again, that was insane. To be fair, StarDuck is expanding, so he is in a bit of a better position, but I don't think Azure is dead anytime soon.
Definitely not. Terra player is able to get those tanks up in a pretty good position and is able to obviously secure them with the Marines. There is no easy way for StarDuck to push into that. Could try to contain, but at the same time, that's on a little bit of a timer. But once Azure is able to get Stim out, the tables will definitely turn.
Exactly. Like StarDuck is on a timer, as you said, and he does decide to back off, which I think is wise. You can always attempt to stay out here and contain your opponent, but again, you have to babysit your units incredibly well, lest you lose some of them. So instead, he does decide to back off, and we do see Azure. He's finally getting into the swing of things. Stim on the way, combat shield on the way.
Getting very, very close to pushing in with that +1 timing he wants to, and funnily enough, while it's 8 minutes on, because of how the openings played out, this shouldn't hit too late for Azure.
Yeah,
well,
honestly,
I say that, but
like
a good storm.
You're not wrong. Like this will still hit hard, right? Like Stim, combat shield, and +1 on the way. Everything does get scattered, so StarDuck should be well aware of what is coming his way, and ideally he should be able to prepare, right? Throw down a couple of shield batteries, throw down some stack defense, focus on his army.
Yeah, starting to get more and more charge. Might want to look into getting some Archons just to take a couple of tank shots here.
Oh, that he will, right? Especially since the Templar Archives is done for StarDuck. You know, he's not pulling a Jim. He's not neglecting it. Ah, goddamn.
Still shaking my head.
You know, I messaged Jim after the tournament because I linked him our intro, and he's like, "Man, my Protoss is getting pretty good." Like he's very, very proud of himself.
I suppose he should be. Just needs to make a Templar Archives now and then.
He does. Oh boy, and here comes the push. Okay, so StarDuck was able to spot it with the Phoenix. He's aware.
And this is very dedicated coming out from Azure, pulling the SCVs more for repair, really, and for bunkers. He's not going to be able to buffer with only 5 of them, but yeah, this is a really good position for Azure to siege up on. StarDuck just looking to buy time, trying to get more charges out. But once these bunkers get up and running, this is going to look pretty unbreakable.
Exactly. Like, the Sim City is going to be so awkward for the Chargers to really engage with this army, but that's why we see the Chargers circling around, trying to get in from behind, and Azure, he saw that, immediately picks up and maneuvers his tanks to the other side of the wall.
He's walling off with bunkers.
Yeah.
Like, he won't even be able to get units into there, but it's still super effective. Look at these charge shots. They have nothing to do.
Oh my god. Finally, they break through one bunker. Ooh, the Phoenixes do pick up both tanks. None of the tanks are shelling away at all, and despite the SimCity, StarDuck holds.
Yeah, beautiful flank coming out from the north and the south here from StarDuck. The chargelets just surrounding all of the bio, but Azure with the reinforcements should just about have enough. Continuing to kite. And these chargelets, they have just about run out of use for the time being.
That they have. There is still an SCV here. There we go. Another building is being thrown down. Meanwhile, StarDuck is buying time. The Archons are finished.
And this just makes pushing in that much scarier for Azure. He is picking off a lot of Zealots over here, not taking too many losses himself. His bio, for the most part, has been kept alive, and yeah, started losing a lot of his Archon buffers.
Oh, that he is. He's desperately trying to warp in as many units as he can. Even a couple of sentries to throw down some force fields, and Azure, he feels he doesn't want to overstay his welcome. He backs off.
Yeah, pretty good decision here, I would say, from Azure. Definitely wanted to do more damage with that. Again, this is a timing push.
Definitely. But
weaken your opponent's economy as much as he could.
Definitely. But I would say that at the same time, Azure probably took that engagement as best he could. Like, that was insane with the wall of bunkers, like, basically making all those zealots inert. Like, that was beautiful.
Really was. I ain't got on this tank. Oh, what? It's a gun. There's a gun nearby. A man with gun nearby.
Yeah. Oh god, and this is dangerous. The tanks, they're so exposed.
They very much are, but StarDuck doing a little classical misdirection over here. Or Azure, rather. Misdirecting StarDuck is what I meant.
Yeah, distracting him for a moment there, and ooh, in the end, it looks like Azure is setting up for a drop a little bit risky, especially since StarDuck's army is right outside his front door.
Just like so. And the tank's not here to provide any sort of splash damage. Phoenixes will be able to pick off as many medevacs and as many bio units as they can. And now Azure kind of boxed in.
Ooh, yeah, and as all that was happening, he did pump out a couple of Liberates, looking to send them across the map and try and stop all this mining here at the third.
They should be able to get quite a lot done. Again, StarDuck just does not have much anti here, aside from the Phoenixes, which, to be fair, they go across the map pretty quickly. This is Oxide we're talking about. Not exactly Shaganatha.
Oh boy. Meanwhile, the pause on Azure as he's going for a Doom drop into the main base. It can be so risky to pull off, especially since we do have Phoenixes out. But of course, he's aware of their position. He knows they're over by the third base, so he is free to dive into the main.
Just like so. And this is a lot of production and a lot of tech units, Light. Here comes the recall, though.
Oh, that he does. That
SimCity is actually really good for him for the moment.
Yeah, that it does, but you know what? Like, oh god, everything's gonna be going down. There's nowhere for the medevacs to run.
And they can escape the Stalkers. They cannot escape the Phoenixes. It will finally, the last medevac will go down. The last of the bio units from that drop will try to get something done. And Azure, now having his army supply, having half the army supply of StarDuck.
Like Azure, he played this out like beautifully, but that Doom drop was a rough call. It was a big loss, and what did he really accomplish there with that? Like, he wasn't able to take down any tech. The economy for the most part was left intact, and now StarDuck is going for a counterattack. He is still missing any like massive AoE. I saw he had the Robotics Bay finish up, but there's still no Colossus or Disruptors. But regardless, like, this is still a pretty intimidating force.
Yeah, my counterpoint is charge slots. And also friendly fire.
True. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, it is harder to pull off, you know. There's a lot of times where the mines will just kill and the bio will just kill off the charges before they're able to try to utilize friendly fire, but yeah, sort of trying to do as much as he can. Probably not a good idea pushing in that choke point. He did force a pull on the boys, and he was able to weaken Azure's economy even more. Which is something, it's definitely something, but we just saw StarDuck go from 120 supply to 70 supply.
Yeah.
In the end, I'm not sure who got the better end of that.
It does feel like Azure, he definitely took the better end there. That defensive position, the choke point, fighting in tank range. StarDuck throwing away a lot of supply in the end, but finally he was able to recompose himself a little bit. We have Colossus and extended thermal lance on the way.
Absolutely what you want against Marines. And with the thermal lance, you can almost start using the Colossus as a siege unit, but I'm worried for StarDuck. There's a lot of Marauders out here for Azure. He has not stopped pumping them out.
He has not, and honestly, like, after all said and done, like, Azure even has the worker lead. Like, he's actually okay economically. He's incredibly oversaturated here at his third base. He needs to expand at some point and throw down another base, which is what I'm a little bit concerned about.
He'll get there when he gets there, spending a lot of his money on his military units for the moment, trying to get ghosts with his seismic shock. I don't think that's right.
Shockwaves?
Had shockwaves, that's the one.
Okay.
And that upgrade coming down, which is definitely going to be useful against the Archons. How good are they going to be against Colossus? It weakens them, but you definitely still need your Marauder force shortly behind.
That you do. Meanwhile, StarDuck is just trying to pick off at what he can here, you know, using his Blink Stalkers to pick off a Widowmine here and there. But as you said, like, this is pretty scary. Like, Azure's army is getting so much more sophisticated with these ghosts, with the EMP potential.
And meanwhile, StarDuck, he's forced to resort to hallucinating Colossus. Two Colossus, actually, making him look stronger than he actually is.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrisome here. I mean, thankfully, he is incorporating some Colossus into his army. Like, it is something that he was missing for the longest time. I wouldn't mind... I was about to say I wouldn't mind High Templar, but now that Ghosts are out and EMPs are out, I don't know if that's the best choice either.
I mean, it's kind of a dance going back and forth.
Mm.
It's really who pulls the trigger quicker, right? Does the Ghost shoot the EMPs, or will the Templar get the feedbacks? Although, I will say, feedbacking Ghosts are a little harder than feedbacking Vipers. That's kind of cute coming up from StarDuck.
Yeah,
Deal
but
with the mind, but he doesn't know this is another one.
Oh god, the tank just finished up, but it's too late.
2 more probes will in fact go down. And while it's not much, if StarDuck can, or Azure, sorry, if Azure can just continue to get a little bit of damage like this, he is going to pull pretty far ahead in the economy. Well, I say that, but he's still on 3 bases.
Technically on 3 bases. He'd float his main base over to his 4th location, which I do love that he went for that. It's a nice way for him to continue to maintain his economy. And honestly, like, his army is pretty massive. It's quite terrifying. And I don't know if you want to push into this defensive position if you're StarDuck.
Set up a flank.
Oh yeah, not just a flank, mate. There's EMPs in that army.
EMPs and a lot of Marauders. Not too many charges here for StarDuck's army. But now StarDuck sort of taking a bit of a choke point. The tanks are going to shell away at this army.
Man, you need to recall out,
starting to get
mate.
a little bit exposed. He absolutely does. Here comes the Terran army coming in from both angles. But the Northern army getting a little bit distracted by the gateways. Will be able to take out the Colossus though. And with that, look at that supply plummet. Azure gonna go for the counterattack.
Exactly. Azure, he lost the base, but mate, he can pull the boys. He's all in, and he can just end the game. Like, what does StarDuck really have left? He lost every single Colossus.
He's got some disruptors.
I guess so. You know, he has 2 disruptors with this army. He's got a Head Templar with no Storm. Oh, not the best Purification Nova.
You know what? Charge looks. Yep, you're good against Marauders.
Oh,
Not
God.
having Marauders, so.
Exactly, and 2 Purification Novas already wasted. 1 goes off.
For sure, getting a little slightly offended here at StarDuck. You made me make these EMPs. Now I'm gonna use them.
That he is. He's just stimming on forward, focusing down every single disruptor. GG gets called.
Azure tying up that series sideways 1-1. Don't you do a closely matched?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I was really concerned for Azure early on, but it did feel like StarDuck did end up throwing away or like taking some pretty bad engagements on Azure's side of the map. Azure defensively was pretty solid.
He overestimated the power of Archons. Pretty good firing into a choke point. Not very good when, you know, they're the ones that are actually at a choke point.
Exactly. And with that, Azure, he doesn't go down without a fight. He does tie up the series, and this could still go either way.
Indeed it will. And of course, the winner of this is going to go up to face Gogo Joey, the 2nd top-rated player of Grand Platypus Open.
And as we get into that, I would ask you to make the lobby this time, just in case there's something wrong with me making the lobby, and maybe that was causing some issues earlier, as we are getting into Jagannatha.
KBBL E.
Meanwhile, I saw there was a lot of copy pastas in the chat.
Good old Duckville.
Yeah, Duckville showing. He shows up every now and then, and whenever he does, he makes sure he brings some copy pastas.
Yeah, I love to see it. Gotta get your spirit on, you know?
Good to cheer for the duck, man.
Yeah.
StarDuck.
Get the villa.
Boy, as we are going to be getting into game number 3, we mentioned earlier, this will be on Jagannatha, and oh boy, we'll see if Ome Azure still has it in him and can reclaim some of his lost honor after losing the last series.
Good old Craig.
Duh. Also, apparently apparently Steel Mold and Duckville were having an old contest. I don't know what happened there.
You see, when Steel was young, I have to actually imagine what that would be like, because I don't think it existed.
I don't think he's ever had hair, mate. I didn't believe it.
Here we are, concluding the series on KBBL Jagannatha LE. And the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner, the blue Protoss player coming down from Sydney Aba. He is representing Fight for Justice, soaring through the space. He is my own grandson, StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Australian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Legacy Esports, tying up the series 1-1. It is Azure.
Hi.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we casted Azure. I miss it.
It really has. And I mean, we've been so starved for Terran content, we've been casting Hero.
Whoa! What are you trying to say about Hero, mate?
I'm saying that his games that aren't TvT tend to be very short.
They are, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. We have to settle for the shorter games because, you know, we haven't been able to cast a Terran player here. We would like to cast somebody like an Azure or a Seether.
Look, Hero...
Or Hero in a TvT or a Hero in a TvT, but... yeah, we have to be content with, you know, our 3-minute TVPs.
Or Hero in a TVZ, because I do see that Hero is in the chat. Mate, I love casting your games, doesn't matter what matchup it is. And also, a bit of an update in the bracket, !B in the chat. Hero 2-1 Vivid.
Ooh!
He's waiting for the in the next round for the winner of Mio Micah and Leah Rusher.
Oh, that's tough.
Mate.
So either way, it's not gonna be a Terran player.
I mean,
unfortunate.
I mean, what's insane is like there could be a world where we get like a Singapore versus Singapore, Leo Russia versus Hero, like in the next round.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Leo Rusher, he's not quite on the same sort of, you know, misdirection, sort of cheesy wavelength as somebody like Mio Micah, but he can definitely still trick the old cat.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people remember, but it was in DreamHack. I think it was Winter. Yes, DreamHack Winter. Leo Russia cheesed his way all the way to qualify for Answer Champs.
Yep.
And then in the main event, he didn't win a single series.
But you know what? He qualified.
He did.
Second
He did
player from
qualify.
Singapore after Psycho, if I'm not mistaken.
You're
Oh
not
wait,
wrong.
third after Whisk and Psycho.
All right, man, I keep forgetting about Whisk. Oh god, but we are getting into this series, into game number 3, and so far StarDuck has been a little bit, you know, applying a little bit of pressure here, and ooh, we do see a Dark Shrine.
You'll love to see it. The gloves are 100% off.
Oh, aye, here we go. We have a hidden Dark Shrine coming out from StarDuck. Meanwhile, Azure, he was able to poke into the main base, but again, nothing was really amiss so far. He has no idea that this is coming his way, and this it'd be a travesty if this is how it ends, mate.
No! I saw him swap the add-ons over, and I thought, okay, it's fine. Azure, he's playing this safe,
Raven, right?
like a Terran player wants to in the TvP. Yeah, getting a Raven out, that's a Banshee.
Aye.
Don't offer detection light.
Well, to be fair, he does have the option to make a Raven, and right, like Ravens, you know, they're pretty common in this matchup. I feel like you get them every now and then. We'll see how much damage he can get done with these Hellions, though.
Yeah, he really needs to do as much as he can before, you know, the elephant in the room hits. Those CTs come across the map. 6 drones, 6 probes, not too bad, but yeah, I have a feeling StarDuck's gonna do a lot worse. Scans were just okay. He should have 1 scan available soon in about 10 seconds.
Yeah. He's slowly banking up that scan energy, so he should be able to throw at least 1 down. 2 DTs are being morphed in, and we'll see what StarDuck prioritizes here. He goes for some tech, or just goes right into the mineral line. Azure sees.
Very nicely done here from our Red Terran player. Scan is just about gonna be ready in just a couple of seconds. There we go, and both of the DTs were warped in to the same location. The Cyclone going to try to do what it can with the against a Warp Prism here. And it will get it. 2nd scan available. And there we have it. 10 SCVs go down, which is pretty good. But that's just about going to be the end of the DT harass.
Yeah, honestly, it was huge that Azure was able to just barely snipe that War Prism. If the War Prism survived, then StarDuck would have been able to continue to apply pressure, continue to warp in those DTs. But thankfully, with that lock on, Azure was able to shut it down.
And now, gonna be doing the opposite. He's got cloaked units of his own. StarDuck did not prioritize detection at all. I think he just finished. Yep, he just finished a robo facility, but yeah, now the server will try to do whatever it can, but Azure's control. It's insane. 15 probes go down.
He's not done.
More than equalized.
Like, the observer is so slow, it's just barely crawling over, and so much. This is like nigh game-ending damage right now. Oh my god. 17 kills on this Banshee.
Well, maybe not necessarily game ending, but let's say that Azure is about 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's insane. He can even delay this third base. Okay, the third base does go down.
And just like that, we have ourselves a longer macro game on our hands.
Yeah, they both dealt some heavy damage to each other. I will definitely say that Azure is well ahead. You know, he didn't just deal this damage with the Banshee, but earlier he also got quite a number of worker kills with his Hellions. So he's just dealt so much economic damage to StarDuck, and StarDuck is kind of just stuck here at home.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, or one way of reasoning why Azure is ahead. I would say that Azure is ahead because he's got more SCVs and mules, so...
There you go. That's what you want to see?
That's just my opinion.
Oh boy, and yeah, we'll see if StarDuck can drag himself back into this, because again, like, there are a couple of things that he can do. Like, he does have Blink on the way, he still has DTs as well. Like, maybe he can make something happen with them. It's gonna be difficult, especially since missile turrets have been thrown down in both bases.
And it's really... I mean, there's still a little bit that StarDuck can really do here, but he needs to really keep his eyes on the minimap spot when Azure is starting to move out, and then try to stick the DTs in. The counterpoint to that, though, is do you want to use your DTs to mess up your economy, or would you rather have them used defensively?
That's the question. It's pretty interesting how StarDuck is using them. Like, they are in the center of the map, kind of as like spotters, really. Kind of like more mobile observers, I guess, question mark. So yeah, we'll see if they come into play.
They're observers that hurt. And I tell you what, like, it's very easy for the Raven to not be in position with, you know, a couple of these bio units and you know, one swipe of the DT, and all of a sudden you're missing a couple of Marines in your push.
Yeah. So hopefully he does keep his Raven with his main army, as I believe he's sending out his Banshee. Raven shouldn't be sent out across the map, but yeah, StarDuck is kind of just chilling at the moment, which I completely understand, right? Like, he's up to 3 bases, he's slowly probing up, saturating as much as he can, trying to be a little bit aggressive with these Stalkers, trying to pick off whatever they can. Ooh, at the same time, Azure is looking to push out. Yeah,
it's +1, about 2/3 of the way done here. He's got his stim and his combat shield. Concussor shell's not far off. Gotta be a little careful here of the Stalkers. They do pick off a couple of those medevacs. Very good blink at the last second.
Oh, he was able to
keep the majority of these alive.
Yeah, and more importantly, he's able to slowly pick away at this army, and he sees that it's coming across the map. He knows that he has to prepare at home. That's the word, yeah. Oh boy.
I like it now Azure is utilizing those mines, just making sure that, you know, the Stalkers can't nip at his heels, so to speak. Banshee will go down finally, but it does draw a lot of the army back. Charge is going to be finishing up pretty soon here for StarDuck, but this is a very good position for the tanks to be in. Very little surface area for the Zealots, and he's got mines. Don't forget about that.
He has 5 mines already set up. Ooh, nice anti-armor missile as well on the majority of the Zealots.
And those are the main tanking unit here for StarDuck once they have no armor. That's pretty much a glass cannon is what StarDuck has. He does have an immortal, 2 immortals actually, which will be able to soak up some damage, but that's not what you want when you're facing Marines. Auto charge just for extra DPS. StarDuck looks like he's about to break here.
Yeah, exactly. One of the immortals already does full. He only has 1 remaining, barely any gateway units left. He is warping in a wave of Zealots to help reinforce, and maybe, just maybe, he can hold on. The bio is heavily overstimmed.
Very heavily overstimmed, and the charge does to try to come in for a flank, but the mine! Unfortunate friendly fire here. with the mines over there. And this push will now get cleaned up. The mines just continue to be a nuisance here for StarDuck. But look at that army supply lights. Azure, he's pushing out with the rest of his reinforcements. And I don't think StarDuck is going to have any warp-ins for a while. Okay, he can warp in 7 charge zones, but that's it.
He's not just pushing. He's got his main army here, hitting the 3rd base at the same time. We have a couple of drops headed towards the main base of StarDuck. As you said, StarDuck does warp in a couple of zealots. Maybe he can try and hold on. Oh my god, another auto target thrown down.
And that's taking the brunt of the zealot damage over here. The bio just basically completely untouched. He is stimming really, really hard. The medevac's running out of energy, but with those mines, GG is called. Azure, taking his revenge from last week, will be taking the series to face Go-Go Joey in the next round. Very good showing. Very back and forth series between these two. Azure, I think, showing that has better counterattacking instincts, I would say, here, especially in that game number 2.
Yeah, and I think more importantly, Azure just has so much experience as well, trying to stay, or being able to stay calm under pressure and deal that pressure as well. And Azure looking so impressive here. It's great to see as well, because I know that he has been laddering more frequently recently as well. Like, he is actually working on himself, improving his skill, working towards that ANZ champs at the end of the month, or at the end of next month, I should say. And yeah, it's great to see him in form. Coming soon.
It's coming soon. So excited. But yeah, GG's to that series. Azure is now going to face a Go-Go Joey in a TBC. Fans of StarDuck, do not despair. There is a lower bracket today, so yeah, he's going to go down there to face Dash.
Ooh, with that PvP.
You know what, real quick, happy birthday, Debbie, in the chat. Thank you, Lord Loken, for gifting him that sub for his birthday. Do appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.